Welcome back, you guys. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Q. This is the Millennial Classics, where we react to, talk about, review, enjoy the best and most memorable movies, music, and culture changing events from our generation. Happy Black History Month, y'all. It is a good month, and to celebrate this good month, today we are reacting to Do the Right Thing, directed by Spike Lee, nominated for Best Original Screenplay and Best Supporting Actor. I feel guilty for not seeing this movie earlier.
Oh no.
This is like part of the culture. If there were any movie that is a must watch for all, I would say Black Americans, but Americans, period. Many folks think this is his best movie. Roger Ebert, that huge critic, has put it as the top 10 of the decade, and this is the 1980s. I honestly have never watched it. I know that there's a sad ending. That's as much as I know about this movie. And yeah, I think we should just get into it. Let's do the right thing and watch this movie. Oh, this is a Negro spiritual of 40 Acres and a Mule Productions. Oh my, she's jamming. These motherfuckers are going ham. Fight the power. Hey, fight the power. And I think for the rest of the month, I am going to try to watch a few more of the Black history must watch, the must see Black movies. There's many I've never seen. I mean, how have I not seen this movie? Samuel L. Jackson.
Here I am. I have today's forecast for you.
Hot. Is this a parody? Like in 1989, was this a parody, or was this like people took this as serious can be? I can't tell because that is so on the nose Black. Like, what is it called? It's not when Black folks do poetry, slam poetry. That was like just like the most, parody like slam poetry intro to a DJ. I have to say, I always have not an issue. It's hard watching anyone act as someone with Down syndrome. It's always difficult to see. There was this Prime Video movie that came out with, what's his name? The dude who plays Hulk. Anyways, that he played twin brothers. One had Down syndrome, and he did it so well, right? He did it so well. But I don't know, Smiley over here, borderline. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I like it. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with it. But let's see. The movie just started. Let me not jump down its throat. Michael Jordan. I thought Spike was a Knicks fan.
I hate this freaking place. I detest it like a sickness.
I love John Turturro.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if there's something wrong with that, I want you to tell me. You can know.
You know what I love is like, yeah, obviously they're Italian, but they sounded, I feel the accent's not off. That's not what I'm going to say, but I feel like already they're using their hands a little too much. I get it. You're Italian. You don't have to dance while you talk. Okay, so Dodgers, I'm guessing New York.
You are going to have the cleanest sidewalk in Brooklyn.
We found out that they're in Brooklyn.
Why don't you both shut up? Here, tell him, Pop. And why don't you shut up, too?
I like Sal.
What I ever done to you?
That's
drunk fool.
Besides that.
God damn. That poor kid.
Fuck Mike Tyson. Drop him like a bad habit. Look at you. You ragged as a roach. Eat the holes out of donut.
I like that. Eat the holes out of donuts.
Been coming in here at least 3 times a day. What are you, a retard?
Damn.
We spend much money here. We do have some say.
That's so disrespectful. That really bothers me. You can't be yelling and
Stay black.
stay black.
What? Always do the right thing.
I like that. That's I absolutely love. Love with a passion when you say the title of the movie in the movie. And there's no one better in this movie to say that than the mayor. And I love the fact that he calls everyone Doc. I don't know if he's confused, if he's elderly, if he's, dementia, or this is just, his thing, or a drunken stupor that he's in. But I really like the mayor. I like him a lot. I don't think I'm going to get used to Smiley. I'm really not going to get used to Smiley.
We haven't had a good sit down for a long while.
See, this is something I am used to. an older sister, a mother, an auntie, somebody doing one of the other ladies in the house hair. This is something I am very, very familiar with. Happened way too often. The little ones hated it with a passion, but it happened. They got it done one way or another. What's the plot of the movie? I feel like people are just hanging out right now. This feels like a, Quentin movie where people are just talking and just hanging out. I'm not sold yet. I'm not bought in yet. I'm not lying. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Beers for everybody. I never grew up in a city or lived in a city, but I want to know if the stoop stuff is real. All I know is from Stoops is from Hey Arnold. And I've never been in a situation where people have undone a fire hydrant. Is it technically illegal? Yeah, you can get in trouble for it, right? Oh, this motherfucker is always about that life. What's the deal with Radio Raheem? Is he the bad guy? What's going on? Who's this guy? It is kind of fucked up, though. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I want to file a complaint. I want him locked under the fucking jail.
For wetting you? Take a breath.
Before these people start to strip it clean. Have a nice day, sir.
Shit. Even when he's trying to get him out of here, he got to talk shit. People trying to strip it clean?
Smiley, not now.
Not now, Smiley.
Smiley, get out of here.
You don't have to be so mean to the guy.
All right. Let me put this song on while I go to work on this chicken parmesan.
You know what I love? I don't know if that's even a thing that actually was legit back in the day, but the fact that there's a radio station for the neighborhood and he knows the folks in the neighborhood shouting out people, telling people who's who, what's going on with who. This seems like, I don't know, like as antagonistic as some of these people are towards each other. I don't know a place on planet Earth in 2023 where two neighbors know each other this well. And let me not say Earth, let me at least say America, because this friendly neighborhood knowing each other, keeping tabs on one another, having a mother sister, having a mayor that everyone is aware of. It's lovely. It's lovely to see. It's lovely to see. I'm still confused at what the hell is happening. I don't know what the plot of the movie is, right? Like, I don't get it. I don't know. But I do love the chemistry of the block, the chemistry of the neighborhood. Radio Raheem? Is that Radio Raheem? No, that's... Radio Raheem. Is that how you won the battle? Just if your radio could play it louder? Back in the day, life was simple. Fight the power. Radio Raheem won his battle. Bruh. Oh, shit. Jesus Christ, take a breath.
Damn, man. You might as well throw them shits out.
Why is Martin Lawrence got a list?
Then why'd you move back to Massachusetts? I was born in Brooklyn.
Why is everyone so tense? I understand it's hot out. I understand this is a Saturday and you have to work next to a fucking oven. Everyone is so tense. Mookie, the whole fucking... Everyone is yelling. Everyone is mad. For no goddamn reason. These are two different cops, right? No, these are the same cops, right? See, this is what I mean. Like, I feel like this is like the most intense antagonistic shit ever. You're supposed to be helping, serving, part of the community. Not fucking staring folks. Just...
You black asses are just plain dumb.
Look.
Fuck out my way. Goddamn, it's Miller time, motherfucker. Hey, Kung Fu.
Jesus Christ, Kung Fu. So this is the struggle, right? This is the issue at hand. And I know that in the after the Rodney King beating, that it blew up between the Koreans and the black folks in LA. And I don't know enough about the situation to say that there was discrimination full blown, or if the Koreans weren't taking the opportunities at that they found, even if it was in an undesirable neighborhood, and went and decided to build from there, right? But it's It's a shitty situation. It sucks living your entire life in a neighborhood, seeing a building boarded up, and then the first people that move into town a year prior comes in and as now have a full-blown business when everyone in your corner has been talking about what can we do to build up this community, right? It's a hard pill to swallow. But if they did it the right way, if they did it the way that they needed to do it to make sure that they were doing best by their family, for their well-being, can you really disrespect the situation? It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. This movie is touching upon things that to this day, 1989, to this day, we still do not have the clear-cut answers to these questions, right? The gentrification, the fact that, outsiders come by and buy some convenience store in a black neighborhood. These are real questions. These are real questions. Spike Lee, he got good. And I like the discussion. These are things you would actually hear black folks say. People say about this type of situation. Someone saying that this is fucked up, that it's because they were black, and someone be like, fuck it, they did what they did, and I'm here to spend my money because it's Miller time, baby. I don't know. But this is what I'm talking about. Why is everyone so mean to each other? Like, I don't know anyone that's just been nice in this show so far, in this movie so far. Everyone is fighting. Everyone is mean, except for the mayor, to be honest.
You so old, you like a fossil.
What is up with these bullies?
Inebriated. Never sober. But that's what DA stands for. The mayor. Drunk ass.
God damn. You guys started the fight, man.
Niggas are so stupid.
Jesus.
Hey, Mookie, forget about it.
Forget about it.
You fucking pizza and fuck Frank Sinatra.
Fuck you too and fuck Michael Jackson.
Take your fucking pizza and go to fuck back to Africa.
Jesus Christ.
Summer Olympic 88 Korean kickboxing sabaran bitch.
God damn.
Yo, hold up.
Hold up.
You need to cool that shit out.
Please. That was wild. That was a little unnecessary. I did not expect that. Motherfuckers were going in. Okay. I see what I don't know, like it just feels like tension is building, but I don't know to what ends. Are we just here to just kind of just like see the life of a block with a very mixed and integrated, very multicultural neighborhood and see how they react to one another? Is that what I am witnessing in this movie? I am not understanding it, but I am enjoying it. I see that back and forth between it's not Sal, between Pino and Mookie. It's funny because I feel like we've come such a long way. Some of the answers that Pino gave to Mookie would be ridiculous for any person to say these days. They're not really black, or they're a different kind of black, or they're more than black. I don't think no matter KKK, racist, doesn't matter how lovingly or pro-black you are versus how how much you hate blacks. No one would actually ever say that, right? And I don't want to say that the sentiment is still the same these days, but I feel like there's some frustrations that people wish to say. There's some angers that people wish to share, right? I mean, we're just coming off the heels of Kanye West going ape shit, going insane, talking about the Jews and how they're like this fucking cabal of folks taking over the planet. Some things change, but some things don't. I think the insults and the views of the way different groups insult each other are different, but different groups are still insulting each other. I'd like to say that we've come a long way. I really do think we've come a long way. And I don't know how true the feelings in this movies are to the time in 1989, in the late 80s and the early 90s. I don't know how true those feelings were to the people that lived in such a multicultural place, right? The assumption I would come to is usually you see these people every day, you are part of these people's lives day in and day out. So you would grow to I don't want to even say appreciate or love or care for, but at least understand that the thought that these people are monkeys or fucking baboons or like whatever the hell your thought is would change to, I might not want to be around them, but they're not monsters. They're not animals, right? I don't know. But I'm with Samuel L. People need to take a time out. Please and thank you.
Remember that.
I want you to remember that. Please do me a favor, Emo. Remember that.
Story of right hand, left hand.
Shit.
Tale of good and evil.
I like the metaphor. I like the comparison. I like the philosophy behind that thought process. But it speaks volumes for you to say that life is a fight, that it is a battle. And it's not just a battle. It's a battle where it's not fisticuffs, whatever those things are. Fisticuffs, whatever it is. That's how you express the fight between love and hate, right? I don't imagine love beating down, like physically beating down hate. I see love as hugging hate, as accepting hate, understanding hate, and explaining a way out of it outside of violence. But I can understand why he would feel that way. I mean, this man looks like he's looking for trouble 24/7. I mean, his soundtrack is Fight the Power, and he's blasting it on his radio 24/7. Radio Raheem doesn't play games.
2 slices.
Turn it up.
I'm into Sal's. There's no music. No music.
No music. Look, listen, I want people to do what they want. I want you to live your best life, but you can't be disturbing the peace like that. That's not a ridiculous ask. You can't come into a place blasting some music. I mean, I don't know. I don't think headphones were a thing, or maybe they had Walkmans or what have you, but that's one thing. Blasting your music in a public, in a restaurant, in a pizzeria is a ridiculous thing to do. And then come off as you're the one that's being offended. He's running a business. There's customers there. He's got to do things, like.
Yo, put some extra mozzarella on that motherfucker and shit.
And this is what I'm talking about. Is that necessary? Is that necessary? Shitty to see a kid play like that. I don't know what it's like to grow up in the city, right? I mean, they can't be too many places for people to be.
Thank you, black man.
I work. Slavery days are over. My name ain't Kunta Kinte.
Jesus. I want to see someone be nice to another person.
We love roll call, y'all. Olatunji, Chuck D, Ray Charles, Luther Vandross, McCoy Tyner, Biz Marquise, Force MDs, Oliver Nelson, Fred Wesley, Sade, Sarah Vaughan, Roland Kirk, Keith Sweat, Quincy Jones, Marvin Gaye, Charles Mingus, and Mary Lou Williams.
I like that dedication. I like that tribute. That's beautiful. Now these days, people don't have the time to just say thank you, just when someone dies. That was beautiful.
Get a fucking job, man.
Pino's got some kind of chip on his shoulder. He just doesn't want to be embarrassed around his friends. That's why he wants to ruin. That's why he wants to sell a business that's been running and keeping a roof over his head for 25 years. Right? I mean, that just seems very fucking petty. Right? Like Sal, that was a beautiful thing that he said. It was a truly beautiful thing that he said, that they grew up eating his food, and he's proud of the fact that they grew up eating his food. The thing is, I want to see the folks that do like being in Sal's Pizzeria. I'm not going to lie to you. Mookie, who works there, hates fucking working there, right? Mainly because of Pino, but he hates fucking working there. Mookie's friend with the crazy haircut is cussing. I know he's there multiple times a day, but it seems like he's always there causing trouble, making a scene about how much he can get, how much is the slice, yelling about who's on the wall. Radio Raheem comes in there blaring music. Let me see the good side of anything in this town and on this block. Right? Please. This movie, it's like, I'm not rooting for anyone. Right? I'm not rooting for a single person in this movie.
Hear me? What you ought to do is boycott that goddamn barber that fucked up your head.
Sal, we're gonna boycott your fat pasta ass.
Ask and you may receive. Listen, I know. I just went on that full-on rant, and it's nice to see. Yes, I guess people are just not as welcoming, as kind, as friendly, as neighborly as one would want in a neighborhood like this where everyone is so close. And maybe it is the heat bringing out the worst in everybody, but it's nice to see, at least in private. And it'd be better if they would, say it to Sal, or at least show the kindness, the happiness that they have with Sal's Pizzeria. But at the bare minimum, it is very nice to see that people are like, no, you're fucking crazy. Sal's has been serving us delicious food this entire time. There's no way I'm going to boycott him or the pizzeria. And you're fucking ridiculous.
Here's your boycott up here.
If you really tried hard, Buggin Out, you could direct your energies in a more useful way,
It's good advice.
D, motherfucker, D. Learn to speak English first, all right?
Jesus, fuck.
Yo, man, you sure that's 20? No, man. No. Take them out, man. Count them again.
This is what I'm talking about. Like,
Sun is going down.
I think the mayor is my favorite character. Looking good. God damn.
But it was brave.
Hey.
Child owes you his life.
Like white lightning out of a black snake's ass.
He did the right thing. See, this is what I was waiting for the entire movie. But I guess it's fair. You gotta earn it, right? Listen, Mookie is not a good employee.
Why you always cursing?
I don't fucking curse that much.
Fucking curse that.
I'm not leaving yet.
That was lovely. I really thought that was lovely. I thought that was beautiful.
The first time you turn your back, boom. Let's be right here.
This Vito finally put one on Pino's chin. Knock some sense into him like Mookie has been asking. There's a lot of resentment, just a ton of resentment. Like, he just can't let go. He's like mad at the world. Why you gotta... Oh, yeah. How is that supposed to end peacefully? Oh, shit. Oh, shit! Tell him, Mayor. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Oh, shit. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Did Radio Raheem really just die, or did he just pass out? Did he really just die?
They killed him. They killed Radio Raheem. Murder.
Wait. What the fuck, bro? It's fucking insane what's happening in this movie right now. It's called Do the Right Thing, but it seems like not a single person can do the right thing. It's just like this simmer. And I call it a simmer because it started out as the hottest day in the fucking world, but let's see how this ends. Let's see how this ends, because I don't see anything good happening after what just... And taking the Koreans out, like, is that necessary? Like, come on. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? This is hard to watch. What's going on with mother, sister? Wait, what is she saying no to? The smiley coming through at the end. I love that these two made up.
The next record goes out to Radio Raheem. We love you, brother.
Balance a way of achieving racial justice is both impractical and immoral. The old law of an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. It is immoral because it seeks to humiliate the opponent rather than win his understanding. Violence is immoral because it thrives on hatred rather than love. It destroys community and makes brotherhood impossible. Violence ends by defeating itself. It creates bitterness in the survivors and brutality in the destroyers. Martin Luther King Jr. I think there are plenty of good people in America, but there are also plenty of bad people in America. And the bad ones are the ones who seem to have all the power and be in these positions to block things that you and I need. Because this is the situation you and I have to preserve the right to do what it is necessary to bring an end to the situation. And it doesn't mean that I advocate violence. But at the same time, I am not against using violence in self-defense. I don't even call it violence. When it's self-defense, I call it intelligence. Malcolm X. Smiley got it on the nose from the get. Smiley understood it from the get. There's so much to think about with that movie. It is crazy to watch that movie right now. With the BLM riots that just happened in 2020, with the constant cop killings that we see. I think it was Freddie Gray who was selling the butts on the corner store, and he got choked out. That's exactly what that scene reminded me of when Radio Raheem was getting killed. It is hard to watch this movie and see how such minor instances in a daily life can lead to the death of an innocent man, right? And this is what people are very frustrated about and upset about. And you can see from the beginning of the movie, it is a simmer. It starts off with everyone just being on edge, and it's because of something that no one can control. It's legitimately the weather. Everyone is a little on edge because of the weather. And then people go on through their days being pissed off at everybody else. One thing leads to the next. It's a culmination of just horrible, shitty situations. And then the first thing you want to do, the way you want to let loose, the way you want to pop off, is by pointing the finger at the person you think is causing all of these bad things to happen in your life. As simple as something as putting a picture of a black man on the wall has caused the entire thing to burn down and a man to die. It's these little things that build up, that lead to these crazy, horrific, painful, unnecessary deaths of innocent men, usually people of color. You know, this movie, because it's so exemplary of what has happened after it was made. Now that we have phones and cameras everywhere, we see this movie in real life over and over and over and over again. This must have been the norm of what happened when it came to police brutality. Folks in the inner city, in urban areas, felt about their city. The thing that sucks, the thing that's really frustrating, I don't want to talk about the systemic problems here that I have no idea about. I don't know any of these things. I do have to tell you, up until the end of that movie, I felt like this movie, I feel like in 2023, this Black History Month, we have become so advanced. We have the way we talk about race today is so far past this movie, like so far past this movie, right? Like with the intersectionality and just the systemic issues and like all of these things, like all of these big words and these big ideas to explain just the harshness to a specific race of people. And that's why for the first half of this movie, for the first 75% of this movie, I felt like it was a little silly. I'm not going to lie. I felt like, yes, this could be. I mean, I started out by asking if this movie was supposed to be a parody. It felt a little silly the way they were going about talking about race. But the way it ended up, the realness of how it ended, this must have been a shock to the system of the culture that is America when it came out, for the world to see this is what it's like to be Black in your own neighborhood. Not own a single business, not have any power in the streets that you grew up, were born and raised in. You see people come from outside the city to come to the favorite pizzeria in your neighborhood. And the entire time it was a Vino, not Vito. Vito was, I don't want to say the good son, but the more understanding son. Turo, his character. Constantly, every person that comes in there, every Black person that comes into that store, he has a problem with. He's talking shit about. Even one of his own coworkers, Mookie, every single day. These folks come from outside the city. They make money in the city. They talk shit about the people they're making money off of, and then get the hell out of there. You can only deal with that for so long. Right? And yes, I don't know what the details are of the Korean store across the way, right? But the mayor seemed like the nicest person in the world to everybody in this movie. I think you can't expect a convenience store to have your specific type of beer every day of the year 24/7. If they're out of your beer, they're out of your beer. The little things that made people want to hate each other. And it doesn't go from you didn't have the beer I like, you're not being a good boss. No, it's you didn't have the beer I like, you Koreans need to get the fuck out of here. And that's such a dramatic, insane jump. It's such an insane jump. Right? But it's just, that is what everyone is doing in this movie. I don't like what you did, so I'm going to blame everybody that looks like you. Right? And you can only be blaming an entire group of people before you stop caring about all of those people. This movie, I'm going to have to watch it again because I'm not going to lie. It was a slow burner. I didn't understand it for a lot of it. I was confused is not the right word. It's just, the truth is, I was kind of bored. I was bored for a good chunk of this movie, right? But you could see the tension, you could see the simmer, you could see it boiling and boiling and boiling and boiling, and you knew something was going to happen. And the way it all came together, the way it all happened, it's so shitty to see. I mean, like, Spike Lee got that shit down pat. Right? Like, I mean, every single riot protest about an innocent man getting killed, it looks like this, right? I don't know if reality is copying art, but it looks exactly like this. Someone dies innocently for reasons that start out for some simplistic bullshit. A picture on the wall and playing radio in someone's store. And it ends up with his death. Radio Raheem. But that's the thing, man. Even like Radio Raheem, he is constantly walking around this neighborhood with a chip on his shoulder, ready to just fight at a drop of a dime. The dude bugging out, Mookie's friend, ready to fight because he got his shoe stepped on and he was ready to tell, Mr. Bird to go back to Boston when he was born in Brooklyn. But Radio Raheem, the way I think it was the Puerto Ricans, when they were playing their music, it's just like everyone except for the mayor is just so ready to fight. It's just so ready to just blow up. Everyone is on edge 24/7. There was it's crazy to say, but once that shit popped off, once everything blew up, once people were allowed to let loose and release some of that shit. The next morning, mother, sister, the mayor, they're much kinder to each other, right? Mookie and Sal, yes, they did the yelling, screaming match, but he gets paid an extra $200. And it seems as though it's like, all right, we're saying goodbye. This shit really sucks, but we're saying goodbye. And a death and burning down a local business cannot be your way of releasing the stress of the neighborhood. But if nothing is happening for the people in that neighborhood, it's very difficult to understand what's the right thing to do. Right? Just like the title of the movie, there's a lot of things in this movie that were done that I would consider to be wrong or not the preferable preference, right? It's just like that little build. It builds. I don't know. I really want to know, how do people who watched this when it first came out see it today? Because my perspective on this movie is with all of the, Black Lives Matter talk that we've had in the, everything since when this movie came out. That's what I am basing it off of. So like the people who have watched this when it first came out that year, I want to understand how they saw this movie, how big of a deal this movie was. Were there other movies that really depicted the culture of a Brooklyn, a New York City block, where the tensions between races could be as loving as the tensions between like Mookie and Smiley and Sal and Mookie's sister, or it could be as hot as fucking Bugging Out and Sal, or Radio Raheem and fucking Vito. It's just so much. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, as far as movies go, watching this movie, I feel like it's a timeless aspect of this the racial tension here in America, right? That aspect of it is timeless. And it's as clear as day in 2023 as it was in 1989. And the depiction of how it built up to this horrific ending seems very similar, and not just similar, it seems identical. But as a movie, I wanted a little more as a movie. The folks that saw this movie when it originally came out, I want to hear from them. You know, I appreciated when things got intense and the camera shifted and it was like the zooming in on the face, but it wasn't zooming in on the face. You can see, you can feel the tension. You could feel the anger, the upsettingness of the character. I really like that. I thought Samuel L. is the senior master of love or whatever his name is, the radio host. He was fantastic. You know, just one line after another. No, and I also wanted to talk about the parenting in that neighborhood real quick. You just saw a lot of kids. Mookie's son, Hector, it seemed as though he was a pawn in the life of his parents' arguments and fighting, and it didn't seem like the kid was ever the focus of any specific scene, right? He's always just like A+1. Mookie's girlfriend fighting with her mom about taking care. Mookie's girlfriend arguing to Mookie about not caring about him, but he was never the focus, right? That you saw just children around the neighborhood just doing their own thing without any specific focus on what they're doing. And I don't know if that's the culture back then. I don't know if, because people say kids used to run around and do their own thing and parents would just come back before the lights turn, whatever, right? The man going out of his way to save that kid, and then his mom coming out and beating him on the street in front of everyone. I don't know. There's so many things about this movie that I really want to dig my teeth and understand. This is a movie I'd like to rewatch, and I want to watch it with other people. I want to talk to other people about what they saw in this movie that I missed. I hate to say it, but when you're bored, a lot of the stuff just washes over you and you're like, where's the plot? What am I watching? What's going to happen? And yeah, you can say whatever, call me whatever. Maybe I'm not appreciating the art of the time or whatever. I don't care. What I'm telling you is I was bored, right? But now knowing the ending, I kind of want to go back and see it again. I kind of want to understand the things that I missed. Those three old gentlemen that were standing at the stoop arguing about the polar caps and why the Koreans are taking over. Like, these conversations are real things people talk about frequently, all the time. And I don't know if this is how people actually talked about it, or if this was a dramatization of it, because that's what I mean when I say our conversation about race has gotten so much more advanced, because I don't think people would ever say things like they do in this movie. Right? When Mookie was talking to Pino and saying who's your favorite athlete, what all of these things, and then he was saying they're not really black. I don't think anyone would ever say such a thing. I don't think so. No, at least I hope not. And those two quotes at the end, Martin Luther King saying, violence is never the answer. Nonviolence is always the answer. The way you protest is peacefully. And Malcolm X saying, not only is not using violence when violence is used against you a smart thing, the right thing, but it is considered intelligent. It's considered the best of the right options. And those are two opposing views that, it's hard to meld together. When is it okay to use violence? Was it right for Mookie? I don't know if it was right for Mookie to throw that dumpster into the window. Because Mookie worked there, it felt like the neighborhood was given the okay by Mookie throwing the trash can into the window to blow that shit up. The thing that's really, really frustrating is Sal's a good guy. Sal loves his spot. Sal appreciated the folks in the neighborhood. You can't blame Sal for the cops coming in there and fucking killing this kid. There was no scene where Sal is telling people to call the cops because he wanted. No, Sal was fighting Radio Raheem because he was saying Radio Raheem was attacking him and his business. Sal was protecting his own business and his people and his sons. And it culminated in Radio Raheem dying. I don't know what the follow-up of this is. What usually happens when something like this happens? I would love to know. Do you sell your business and get the fuck out of there? I don't think people would ever go back to that place ever again. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I just got to sit with this movie a little bit more. Please, this is one of these movies that I really do want to see what happens in the comment section. Talk to me about this movie, please. talk to me about this movie. And I really, 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 really want to hear from folks who watched this movie when it came out in 1989. How did this movie feel to you? I feel like there's just so much context to this movie that I'm either not understanding or have too much of since the release of this movie, which makes me look at this movie very differently than those who were watching it when it first came out. I'd really love to talk about this movie. I'll talk to you guys on the flip. We'll see what Black History movie we'll be watching next week. Hey, buddy. Mr. Leonidas.